softball fans, and welcome back to This Week on the Diamonds. I'm Carol McKee here with my co-host Sandy Delker-Holbert, and we have a special guest with us today, Ed Kieff.
Yep.
Ed, you have a lot of history with softball.
It goes back quite a ways, I would say, yes.
Well, and you two have a connection with softball.
We do. He drugged me in.
So why don't you give us a little intro to Ed and how he drug you in?
All right.
Start off the show.
I met Ed Kieff back in, I believe it was 2008. And at that point in time, I was coaching a 9-year-old team. And he had approached myself and another gal that I was coaching with at the time because we had a really, really, really good little 9U team. And he asked us if we'd be interested in joining the Diamonds Club, and he knew that this gal and I were pretty serious about softball. We both had played college ball and teaching the girls fundamentals, and we had a pretty salty team. So he offered a facility at the time, and it was one of the very, very few in the city or state, and that gave us the opportunity to train the girls year-round, give them something to do in the winter that was positive. And we thought, oh, let's give it a shot. Let's get these girls indoors. And he just has a great philosophy about the game, and we liked his vision for the club. The club, basically, that Ed has started is based on every girl should play ball if they want to play ball, and money should not be the reason that they do not. And so we have a very low fee to belong to the club, and if a girl can't afford it, we offer a lot of different options for fundraising. So it's really his vision and his philosophy that we really liked that drew us in, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get involved with softball in the first place, Ed?
Well, let's see. It started in 1968, and I was a bat boy for the Lincoln Police fast pitch team, men's fast pitch team, which was basically made up of Nebraska football players who got summer jobs with the police department so they could play softball in the summer for the police department's team. So I was a bat boy for that team for several years, and so I've been around fast pitch for a long time. My daughter got involved when she was 8, and took her to her first practice, and the coach that was there said, yeah, she's got a pretty good arm, and so she started playing softball. She tried out every sport there is. She tried basketball and soccer and swimming and gymnastics, and ended up on softball. And so that's kind of how we got started. One of the coaches of her first team needed some help, so I helped out, just kind of, hitting some fly balls and whatnot, and that's where we got involved. So 21 years later, after several times of trying to get out of softball, and every time getting drugged back in, for good reasons, it's been fun. And so now I'm at Dakota Wesleyan. Like Sandy said, we started the Diamonds Club, I want to say 2007, and there's a lot of people involved. It wasn't just me. I mean, there was probably at least a dozen or more other people who I can't name all of them. And so it wasn't just me and Sandy. They did have a good team, and we were just trying to figure out how to get an indoor facility for the girls in a climate that obviously needs it. And there wasn't really anything. All the teams that were playing were using a garage or someone's work or workplace or whatnot. And so I came from Nebraska. My daughter played down in Nebraska, and there was a lot of indoor facilities and a lot of club teams, and there wasn't any real club teams in Sioux Falls yet. And so
do they have sanctioned high school softball in Nebraska?
Yeah, they do. And they play in the fall, and they've had it for quite a long time. And that was another thing that was different. There was a lot of things that were different when I moved to Sioux Falls in 2003. That was one of them, and softball was really kind of an afterthought to most administrators, and still kind of is, to be honest with you, and it's disappointing. And we made some attempts to get softball sanctioned in the high school level, and hopefully that'll happen one of these days. I think it will. It needs to happen. I think South Dakota is the last one. So,
well, it is important for athletes. It's a validation of their sport of choice at the high school level. Hopefully, as we've discussed before, athletes aren't specializing too early, but by high school they tend to start choosing that one sport. And And to have the sport that you've chosen not be recognized by your high school is kind of demeaning for kids.
Yeah, it is. And you know, there are young players who want to play softball. They don't want to do anything else, or they want to play basketball. They don't want to do anything else, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know,
Right.
Sometimes people get hung up on, well, you know, you shouldn't make your daughter decide to do this or that too early. Well, if they want to do it, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can't make a kid feel bad because they don't play basketball when they're trying to work on their softball skills.
Well,
So,
it's their I mean, what is I think kind of frustrating is when the coach and the parents are putting pressure on the kid, and the kid's not sure that that's their
Right.
sport yet.
Right.
That's what
if it's their decision,
Yeah,
it's,
Right.
when they
you
make
should
that
support it.
decision, it should be
Yeah.
supported. And it'd be nice to see it supported in the high school as well.
Right.
So then
Absolutely.
you're at Dakota Wesleyan. So you've played fast pitch.
Yep.
You've coached younger teams. Your
Yep.
daughter. You've formed the Diamonds Club with others.
Yes.
And now you're at UWU with
Right.
softball. So you've got
Dakota
a
Wesleyan.
pretty good.
Yeah, I coached at Roosevelt for a couple of years in 2004 and 2005, I think 6 and 7,
Okay.
and turned that over to some other people, and was trying to get away, and again was drawn back in with Sandy and the Diamonds Club. So yeah, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, and but it's been a lot of fun too, and met a lot of nice people. So yeah, it's been
Well,
enjoyable.
We're really glad that you could join us
Thank you.
this morning. I know you have other things you need to get back
Oh.
over to Dakota Wesleyan.
Yep.
And we have a tournament report we'll do later on in the show.
Okay.
But we wanted to just kind of cover a few things.
Sure.
And with your broad array of knowledge, Ed, Sandy and I were discussing this weekend over the weekend, some accidents that happened or some injuries that happened. And Sandy, you saw the video from the UCLA game and you're more familiar. Maybe you can tell people what happened.
What happened is it was one of the college games. I think it was on a Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember. But the pitcher from Mizzou pitched the ball, and the batter hit a line drive. It just, within seconds, the ball came right back at her, and there was just no reaction time. She was able to turn a little bit, but she took the softball off of her cheek. And she obviously went down.
And cheeks aren't meant to take batted softball.
No, not from,
Not from fast
from
pitch,
40 feet, 35 feet. Once the pitcher, pitches, she's off the mound a good 6, 7 feet at least. So, I mean, it just came right back at her, and she ended up breaking her cheekbone, and there might be some eye damage. But, it was just horrible to see.
I'm sure it just shattered those bones in there.
Yeah.
Now, you have a policy with the Diamonds, though, where players wear a face mask.
Yep,
right?
and I'll let Ed talk about that, because Ed's the one that
You
started
started
that.
that? Why did you start that? I think I know why, but
Well, I think a lot of parents, were wanting some sort of guidance from the club at the time. This has been a few years back, and so we didn't really enforce it, but we made it known that we would like to see all the girls, especially the infielders, the pitchers, and on the corners, wearing face masks. And while we can't absolutely enforce that, I mean, we really recommend that those young ladies have those face masks on. I think it goes without saying that it makes it much safer for them. And it's much less expensive than a dental bill or dental surgery bill.
Yeah.
A $45 face mask.
yeah, a
So,
mouth guard's not really going to help you much if you have softball
No,
coming in at you.
no.
So how many injuries have you seen over the years from a batted ball coming in
A batted ball.
that would have been prevented by a
Face mask.
face
Well, let's
mask?
see. I've seen 2 ambulances on softball infields, so that's never a good thing to see.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, both times the players were okay. So yeah, it's not. Softball isn't necessarily soft.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's something where you try to protect the players as much as you can. Sometimes peer pressure gets in the way of what they know they should do. And in college, you're starting to see a few more defensive face masks come into play, and that's
Okay.
good. I'm glad to see that, and it's not just around here, it's everywhere. We travel all over the country to play, and we're starting to see a lot more face masks. And I think as you see the players come in, like our freshman group coming in, I think you'll see a lot more of those girls, those young ladies wearing face masks. So happy to see
it's
that.
so preventable
Oh,
by just
absolutely.
wearing. And I'm sure there is a little bit adjustment that needs to happen with the face mask field of vision, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
because you'd have to adapt to it. I know I hate wearing my glasses because I can see the rims on them.
Well, and it's a matter of focus, you know. If that's bothering you, you're obviously not focused enough. Or, you know, you really have to. When you're on the field, you can't let things bother you, or you have to be focused on, you know, whatever the pitch is coming, or whatever the play that's been called by your coach. And you know, if you're worried about your face mask, you're probably not going to play very well.
Yeah.
So you have to really learn to focus on something other than the face mask.
Field of play.
And most of the players that wear them, they want to wear them.
Yeah.
You know, and their parents want them to wear them.
You can adjust and adapt.
Absolutely.
So have you seen quite a few injuries prevented from face masks?
I have, and actually, just last year it was kind of ironic because it was our left fielder, went for a line drive, and it went off the top of her face mask right here, but it also hit her head. And so it prevented the worst of it. She still got a little bit of a ding on her head that took her down. And then she...
Just imagine if she hadn't had that on, though.
Exactly. But then the next play, she ended up going for another fly ball, and she ran into the fence, and her head snapped down, and it saved her face off of
Wow.
the fence. So that was just another reason to tell the girls this is why we wear a face mask.
Now, are they very expensive?
$45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get them less expensive, you can get them more expensive, but
And they're getting better. You know, the first ones that came out were pretty crude, and you know, the technology is getting better, and I think the more comfortable and less invasive they become for the players, I think it'll be a little more. You'll see more of them on the field. So.
Yeah. Well, that's anything to help prevent
absolutely.
injuries.
yeah. So as a college coach, Ed, do you, is there anything, I mean, when a kid comes in to your program, is there anything where you go, oh my gosh, they're wearing a face mask? I mean, I know it's a good thing, but you just don't see a lot of it at the college level. Is it kind of frowned upon?
No, it's not frowned upon. I mean, I'm sure every coach has their opinion of it.
Sure.
My opinion is that if they want to wear something that's going to protect them, they can. You know, and that goes for face masks on helmets too, because when you get to college, it's not required like it is in summer ball, where you have to wear a face mask.
Why isn't it? Do you know?
You know what? It just the sanctioning bodies that run softball in college really haven't addressed it. And maybe they have, and they just decided that it's something that they'll leave the decision up to the individual or the program or the university. And I've never seen anybody enforce that yet. Like I said, you're starting to see more players wear them. There's some peer pressure involved. You know, everybody's opinion is different about it, about should they wear them or should they not. It's an individual thing. I don't see kids that wear them or young ladies that wear them in college. They're not getting any pressure from anybody to not wear it.
Okay. Do you think that with this injury that was televised, widely seen by a lot of people for the Mizzou player in that UCLA game, do you think that may put pressure on the college game to bring in a
No, I don't
mandatory-
think so. I think, you know, it's not, college isn't professional per se, but I think it's about as close as you can get in sport, in softball. And so I don't know. I mean, that doesn't mean that they won't take a look at it. I think they would have a lot of pushback from some people, which to me doesn't make any sense. But, you know, there's a thought that these are highly trained athletes, they should be able to protect themselves. Well, I don't, you know, it only takes one serious injury, and I've seen several of them, and know of players who've been injured by a batted ball that can't play anymore. Their career was over because of it. And you know, hindsight's great. You can say, well, if she'd have had a face mask on, she'd still be playing. And, you know, I don't want to get caught up in saying stuff like that. But I think that as an individual, if you feel like, you know, that extra bit of protection makes you feel more comfortable on the field, then you should wear one. You know, my daughter, when she played, they didn't have them. Or if they did, they never sold them where we lived. So.
Yeah. Well, I played slow pitch a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I did take a batted ball to the sunglasses. I had sunglasses, so I had the little imprint of the sunglasses. That was my best face mask. But I can't imagine a fast pitch batted ball from one of these college players. That was women's, and it was not nearly as competitive.
Yeah, it's
Well, and I think even on the club level, for the little girls, I've had a couple girls where they get hit once in the face or in the forehead just with a ground ball, and they're done playing.
Yeah.
They don't want to play anymore because that hurt and it scared the heck out of them. So
I think probably, as we were talking earlier, that when you see players out there at the college level that are wearing the face masks, they're probably those the players who have been hit and understand the value. But a head injury is nothing to take lightly.
No.
I don't think people understand how serious those can be. And speaking of head injuries, there was another one.
There was
Youth
another
player
one.
this weekend.
Yep, in Lincoln, there was a 16U gal from Sizzle that dove for a fly ball, and it sounds like she maybe kind of whiplashed her head, and it slammed on the ground when she dove for the ball. Well, she got up and then went to the dugout, and then about 5 minutes later, she passed out and ended up going unconscious, had seizures, and they put her in a coma to kind of control the situation.
And there really wasn't anything, there was no equipment that would have prevented that.
No.
And that just happens in
deal.
any sport, anytime you're moving. I mean, she could have just been running across
Yeah.
a park and fallen and had that happen.
Right.
But people need to be aware that there are injury opportunities in any endeavor, any activity
Right.
or athletic activity.
Yeah, but if you can prevent them, obviously, it
Yeah.
makes sense to
Yes.
take those precautions. So
It certainly does to me,
Yeah.
and I was kind of sickened when I heard about that young woman. So.
Yeah, it was a sad deal because they really didn't know what the outcome was, and she was not breathing on her own, and it sounds like she's going to make a full recovery, and she did wake up on her own Sunday morning, so it was a happy ending, but boy,
Yeah.
it was scary at the time.
It was.
So.
It was. Well, and thank goodness for those happy endings. I'm really happy
Absolutely.
about that. But it just reminds people the importance of, if there's a possibility of a concussion, you've got to stay on top of that. I know too many young athletes who have had serious long-term repercussions from concussions because they didn't take care of it and wound up getting another one quickly on top of it.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that can be really, really detrimental. But enough Debbie Downer. We've got some exciting stuff to talk about here with tournaments this past weekend and upcoming tournaments. But let's take a quick break and recognize some of our sponsors. We'll be right back with you on This Week on the Diamond.
Getting recruited by college coaches is more difficult every year. There are thousands of other athletes competing for your position. MyPlayerPage.com is the best place for athletes to showcase their personal and player information. Check us out today at MyPlayerPage.com. Any sport, any athlete, any state, any city, champions all.
Welcome back to This Week on the Diamond. We're going to talk a little bit about tournaments this weekend. Did you get to go to any tournaments this weekend, Sandy?
Yes.
Crazy question.
Yep, I know it. The team that I helped coach went to Lincoln. They had the Memorial Day Blitz down there.
Okay.
So there was Diamonds Edge, which is an 18U team, and then Diamonds Elite, which is a 14U team. Both went down there. Edge made their way through the consolation bracket and played late into the day Sunday, and then Diamonds Elite, a repeat of losing the semifinal game and got
Again.
third again.
So were there a lot of other South Dakota teams there?
There were not. That was it
that
for
was
South
it.
Dakota teams, just those two. It was a smaller tournament. I think the Memorial Day holiday kind of
Yeah.
puts a little damper on that weekend. So that was it for South Dakota teams there.
Well, I was out playing with my granddaughter in Nevada over the weekend. And I
Wow.
bet you got to go see some tournaments.
Yes,
Or at
I
least
was
one.
in Kansas City for a day, watching the NITU SSA tournament down there.
Okay.
And between rain showers and delays and everything, there was some good softball played down there. It was nice to see. There was a couple of South Dakota teams down there, South Dakota Select, which we've got on the 18U team. We've got some recruits on there, so it's good
Okay.
to see them play.
It's always nice when you can get out and watch those recruits play and
Yep.
give them some pointers later on or tell them what they did good, right?
We'll leave that to their summer coaches.
Leave that to their
now.
summer
Yeah.
coaches. Okay, well, there were a few tournaments happening around the state, too. On Youth Fast Pitch, and we kind of go through all of them. And Youth Fast Pitch this last weekend was the 13th Annual Vermilion Summer Slam Girls Fast Pitch Invitational. They had pool play on Saturday. It was a single elimination bracket, and I did get information from Amber Anders, who is the Vermilion Girls Softball Association president. And despite that rain, Amber said that the weather didn't hold the players or the fans back over the holiday weekend. There were close games happening. They had 46 games and had over 700 fans in and out of the gates on both Saturday and Sunday. In their 12U division, the Sioux City Sting team came in, began at the number 5 seed, and ended up being the SummerSlam champions. Good for the Sting.
That's neat, yeah.
Especially when you come in at number 5
Yeah.
seed. That was really nice for them. And the U14 SWAT Adrenaline from Baltic are coached by Steve Van Wyde. You probably know Steve.
Yep.
And Diamonds Fury from Harrisburg. Maybe you know them.
They're one of the club teams, yep. Yep.
From Harrisburg, and were coached by Dean Nagel. They both came in strong. They met in the championship game on Sunday, and SWAT came out ahead in that one.
Yes, they did.
All right.
And then the 16s, the Yankton Fury Extreme ran into the Sioux Valley Stingers, I believe it was. And Yankton Fury Extreme prevailed on that one. And Amber did say that, I asked her, I said, was there anything memorable other than the weather and some good softball going on? And she said that she did remember seeing a team that had a catcher who had a few home runs during the tournament.
Oh, wow.
But she couldn't remember what team it was. She thought it might have been Drake, but it was number 22. So catcher number 22, whoever you play for, great job on those home
Well done.
runs. We love that.
Absolutely. That's always fun.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see. I love it especially when it's like the catcher or the pitcher. Catchers are, I always tease them about being a little bit weird, you know?
There's a lot to that.
You know, and most of them will accept it with pride. Yes, I am.
Yes.
It takes a little different person to be able to sit back
It's a
behind
lot of
their
hard
bat
work.
and the ball coming in.
Catchers do a lot of work.
Yeah, and you need to get an extra set of knees. There wasn't anything going on in youth slow pitch this weekend. They're still moving forward. There was a men's slow pitch tournament. The Rapid City 10 Gamer Men's Open was at the Star of the West complex in Rapid City. Have you been to that Star of the West complex in Rapid City?
I have not, unless if that's where they play the high school games.
It probably is.
I'm not sure which one that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's out kind of toward the airport. A little
I think
more.
that's a different one.
Yeah.
The other one, I can't think of the name of it. It's a fourplex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there is another complex there.
Star of the
Okay.
West
Yeah.
is a nice complex there. Anyhow, I was not able to get any results. So somebody played and somebody won and somebody didn't win. So that's what we
Right,
know
and
about
that's
that
what
one.
we know.
No women's slow pitch or 14, 16-inch slow pitch. And I didn't find any adult fast pitch. So that's what happened this weekend. I know there had to be more going on across the state.
Well, it was a holiday too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, a
That-
little
We're
slower.
probably
but-
out camping and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a good time to play softball, though.
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July weekend, got a good time. We do have some upcoming tournaments, though, coming up. Sandy, you want to share with them what the upcoming tournaments are?
Yeah, for youth fast pitch, let's see, May 30th, 31st at Coke Complex in Watertown, it looks like. 12U and 14U on Saturday, 16, 18 on Sunday. And that is in conjunction with an adult slow pitch tournament.
Does that happen quite a bit, where they'll put an adult fast pitch or a youth fast pitch and adult slow pitch together?
Never heard of it.
Watertown, Gary Young up there, he's been running that program, the fast pitch and probably the slow pitch for a long time.
Yeah.
He's been around the state for many years, and I know we've gone up there and played in his tournaments, and there'll be a men's fast pitch tournament going on at the same time. And it's fun, the girls can go over and watch the men play.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different game when it comes to pitching.
Yeah.
Because there's some rules that they can break that the girls can't. So,
Yep.
But yeah, they do that from time to time. It's a busy place during the summer.
Sounds like
the
it.
ballpark,
It sounds like it. Sounds like this isn't the only one that they do.
Nope.
Let's see, there's a youth slow pitch invitational this weekend at Dunham Park here in Sioux Falls. Looking forward to that. There's a 4-game guarantee for that one. It's supposed to be 18s all the way down to 10 and unders. So that's the 27th annual Sioux Falls Youth Slow Pitch Invitational. So we're hoping to get out there and check some of that out this weekend. It'll be our first slow pitch tournament for youth. And speaking of men's slow pitch, there's that one that they have in Watertown, the 26th annual Summer Swing Men's Slow Pitch that they do in conjunction with the youth fast pitch day at the Diamonds. And then they also have a co-ed division for that tournament. So the men's slow pitch is only on May 30th, and I think the co-ed is only on May 31st. Yeah. And the kids' fast pitch goes both days.
Okay.
So they found a way that makes it work for them out there. That's pretty cool. Be fun to go to. There's also one in Spearfish, a men's and women's slow pitch tournament at the Black Hills State Complex. That's another nice complex. I don't know if you've been to that one.
No, the only time we've played out there, we ended up playing in Rapid City because the weather in Spearfish didn't allow us to play there. That was like 3 years ago. But we're going to get out there this spring and play them.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good. Well, that weather in Spearfish can be completely different than it is in Rapid City, in Northern Hills. So
Is it because it sits in a bowl, or?
it's kind of where the tip of the hills.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there's
I'm
a
not sure.
pathway from Spearfish to Rapid that's kind of protected by hills on both
Okay.
sides.
Okay.
Spearfish only gets a little bit of the hill protection. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
So any weather that comes in there kind of has to go through that valley to get to Rapid City, and sometimes it
I think the
peter out.
situation was then they had snow on the field yet, but
Yeah.
the fields in Rapid were dry.
Yeah.
So we went and played there. It was good.
Yeah, you can get snow there in June. It happens.
And May.
The A-Town Clash. Now, we talked about the A-Town Clash earlier on one of the earlier shows. The A-Town Clash at the Creek. It's a men's and women's slow pitch tournament, and it's in Aberdeen this coming weekend, the 30th and 31st. All proceeds for that tournament go to the Brown County Relay for Life, and they will have United to Fight It team fundraising events, and they're going to have T-shirts for sale. And it's all to benefit the Brown County Relay for Life.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a great way to have some fun and
Raise
do a
money
benefit at the same
for a
time.
great cause, yeah.
That is a double elimination tournament. They have men's rec 1 and 2 brackets, and they also have women's divisions 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So
Okay.
now, when we talk about women's divisions 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, I'm assuming that the 5 and 6 are the more recreational in nature, or are those higher? Do you know?
You know, I don't know, because usually they go A, B, C.
Oh,
And then
okay.
upper B, and
So I'm not
Okay.
sure what the number.
Well, we'll have to
Not
figure that
sure.
out. Maybe
I'm not sure.
that's interesting. Because I thought, well, there might be one I could actually go back and play in and get done.
Yeah.
And then the Sherman Park Throwback Tourney is this weekend here in Sioux Falls. It has both men's and women's divisions.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. That Spearfish one was men's and women's. The A-Town Clash, men's and women's, and the Sherman Park Throwback are both men's and women's. So it's nice to see that we have some women's tournaments going on. I haven't seen any that have a women's tournament all stand alone yet.
probably not until
Slow
state.
pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have that one state.
I'm
Kind
sure
of.
they will.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep an eye on that, because I imagine there are probably college grads like yourself that have played,
Yep.
that are still playing, and maybe you're playing slow pitch if that's all that's available.
That's all that's available,
for
so
women.
yeah. So if you want to play, it's slow pitch.
Yeah, it's slow pitch. Well, it'd be fun to go watch some of those.
Yeah.
The 14, 16-inch slow pitch, or as we call it, the old-timer slow pitch, right?
Or the mush ball.
Much ball?
Yeah.
That's a ball I think I might be able to hit. Those don't start till August, so
Oh.
we're looking forward to a few of those too, because we're all about softball.
I didn't even
Fast
know
pitch,
that.
slow pitch.
I didn't even know that there was a 14-inch, 16-inch league.
Yeah.
That's a huge ball.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and there was some good fast pitch men's games going on, league games going on over the weekend. I saw on the Twitter feed, but I didn't have a chance to pull all of them together. But I saw Brookings was up at a tournament in North Dakota,
Oh wow.
and they said they had a lot of fun and were improving. But I didn't hear anything about bringing home hardware. So
Okay.
at least they're having a good time. That's what it's about.
Yep.
That 26th annual Summer Swing, as I mentioned, is a co-ed. Adult fast pitch, from what I found, the first tournament will be in July.
All right.
So we got more tournaments coming up. So that's kind of our tournament report. We would like to, at some point, Ed, talk with you a little bit about the college game, and
Sure.
because obviously you have a really wide knowledge of softball.
Yeah, I've been around, all different levels, from
Yeah.
coaching the 7U team to coaching college. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen it all.
And you've gone to a lot of these tournaments as a coach, both and as a scout.
dad, as a coach. And,
Yeah. So
Yep.
it'll be fun. Well, let's take a quick break, but we'll wrap up, come back with our wrap-up. Thanks for joining us.
You've worked hard all year. I need you to bring it, dig down deep today. Because today, everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Play. When we first learned to work together, it was through play. We learned social skills, give and take, freedom and teamwork, through play. There's no age limit on play, no skill level required. Play It Again Sports knows play. We buy and sell new and quality used sports and fitness equipment for less, so everybody can play.
Come on, let's play.
You bet I play.
Now it's time to play.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
The official sponsor of
All those that play.
Welcome back to This Week on the Diamond. It's time for us to talk a little bit about For the Good of the Game. For the good of the game, we really want to encourage you to be sending information into us. Love Amber Anders from Vermilion Girls Softball Association sending in that information for us about the tournament. We want to know about your tournaments and want to share your tournament news, your club news, your association news with the rest of the softball community across the state. Right,
Absolutely,
Sandy?
absolutely.
So send it to me, Carol at softball605.com, and we'll get it in here. It's all about what you provide to us is what we're going to share.
Right, and if we don't know about it, we can't report on it, so.
Well, we can make stuff up about you, but we don't really want to do that. We want to report the facts and be a true news story, right?
Yes.
You know, and speaking of the good of the game, Ed, you have something going on,
Sure.
a clinic, right?
Yep. Yes, the Diamonds University will have its first set of camps coming up in June, and just to give you some of the dates. Monday, June 1st, what we're going to do is cover pitching and catching on June 1st, and these are all from 8:30 in the morning till 11:30. So a 3-hour, we'll split it up, half and half pitching and catching. And then Monday, June 15th, we'll do mental aspect of softball and infield. Monday, June 22nd, we'll do teamwork and outfield drills and work. And then Tuesday, the 23rd, we'll work on vision when it comes to hitting, and work on hitting as well during that session. So you can get the registration at SiouxFallsDiamonds.com or on Softball 605. I'm pretty sure they'll have that on there.
Yeah, we'll share the link on our Facebook
yeah.
page and stuff.
It's very
But
reasonable.
that's open for everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, it's
And,
open to the public, any girl that's interested.
Yeah, and you know, we've done several clinics and camps in the past, and they've always been very successful, and you know, we get a lot of positive feedback on it. So we hope to see you guys there.
Well, and the cost is so reasonable.
Yes, very reasonable.
$30 a session, or 3 for $75. That's
Yep.
a great deal.
It is, it's very inexpensive.
When you look at summer camps, you're used to spending a lot more than that for summer camp.
Absolutely.
And this is a nice,
Yep.
it's broken up so that
Right.
they can do other things too. Really sounds very nice.
And we cover some things that you don't normally get at camps and clinics. You know, the mental part of the game, the vision when it comes to hitting and hand-eye coordination and things like that. So you get a little bit something different than just swinging a bat or hitting off a tee, which we'll still do that stuff, but a little added benefit is learning a little bit more about seeing the ball properly and things like that.
You know, I just read a really good article on ESPN, and I'll share it on Softball 605 on the Facebook page, but it was talking about the mental game, and I think they were specifically referring to soccer, but how the elite player plays differently. They see the field differently, that they tend to spend a few minutes just kind of analyzing where everybody's at, how they play their position.
Yeah, they have very good vision, and the game is very slow for them. You know, where you notice sometimes players struggle with things, and the game seems to be going really fast. For the elite athlete, you know, you hear it all the time. You know, the game is really slows down for them, and they either teach it to themselves or they just naturally have that ability. So we'll talk about things like that as well. Yes.
Yeah, and that's something that there's things you can do to help develop it.
Oh, you bet.
Watching
Absolutely.
the game is a big part of it, isn't it? And analyzing the game with
That
others.
and just working on your hand-eye coordination and vision and things like that, because every sport that you're in, your vision is a big deal, and you know, learning how to approach an at-bat or something in the field. From that aspect, we don't tend to spend a lot of time on it, but it's a huge part of the game.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover that.
Well, Ed, we really appreciate you joining us for This Week on the Diamond today.
I'm glad to be here.
You really
Thank you
brought
for
a whole other
having me.
aspect to it, and we're really looking forward to talking to you about the college game.
Okay.
So.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up this week's show. Really appreciate you being with us. We'll be back again next week with a whole other list of topics to talk about, right?
Right.
For Softball 605, I'm Carol McKee.
I'm Sandy Delker-Holbert.
And I'm Ed Kieff.
And you are Softball 605.
Bargain Bites has a huge supply of refurbished electronics. They're a Microsoft authorized refurbisher. Just look at this. Computers as low as $100 and a wide variety of electronics, all so affordable. Look at these deals. A Dell 4-core laptop, fully tested, only $200. A MacBook, fully tested and ready to go, only $200. Subscribe to the Bargain Bites YouTube channel and get all sorts of great tips from super technician Brendan. Bargain Bites, just east of the airport off Benson Road. Visit them today online at bargainbites.net.